What's up, you beautiful people? And I'm talking to no one. I hope you're well. Flicking that off. I hope you are beautifully well. Today, I am going to talk about if I started a community from scratch, what would I do? I am really excited about this because this is the first time I've talked about growing a community. Building and launching a community has changed my life drastically, and I believe it's the most sustainable and fastest way to scale your coaching business. It's the fastest way, the best way to grow a coaching business, in my opinion. It has drastically changed my life. I remember back to, I think, December 2021, when I was just exhausted from the never-ending client creation cycle, that feast of famine cycle that I see a lot of coaches struggling with. And I remember having some really good months and then going back down to zero, having some really good months, going back down to zero. And it was December 21 where I left a voice note to my buddy Lawrence, and I just said, I'm not sure I can do this anymore. I am exhausted. And he said something to me in those moments which really changed me. He said, Joel, you've been here before and you can do it again. And he was right. But I also knew I had to do something differently. I needed sustainability, I needed stability, and I needed some form of recurring revenue. And that's when I created my very first community, a community called The Modern Man. And I grew that to 55 men. And they were paying, some of the founding members were paying, I think, like £100 a month. And then I had some of those that joined later paying around £200 or £250 a month. So it wasn't massive money to start off with, but I tell you what, the amount of emotion, that emotional charge and exhaustion it helped me with was dramatic. Just to cover my initial outlay of subscription, it got to a point where it covered rent, food, like it had such a big impact on my energy. I can't recommend building a community enough. It has changed my life so much. Just to know every single month you have recurring revenue coming in every single month, but also a group of fans who love what you do, who, when you launch new offers, they are a nurtured audience ready to buy your offers. And it has changed my business, more so my life, more than ever. So I can't recommend this enough. So if you aren't thinking about building a community yet, I highly recommend you to do so. And we'll talk about today when to know, or how to know if you're ready for a community, and the stages of building a community. Because I've built two communities now. The Modern Man, it had a method underneath it, that's why I jumped to that. But the Modern Man, which grew to 55 members, and then the Elevated Coaching Collective, which is my current community, and we have around 40 or 38 in now. And over the last year or so, I've created about 75 clients for that. So yes, so hopefully I've convinced you on the power of building a community, but also to say it's not easy, right? It really isn't easy. It's if it was easy, everyone would do it. I know that's a very cliche thing to say, but it takes real intentionality, strategy, and persistence to build a community, and consistency. So today I'm going to talk about the mistakes I see people making in building a community, the stages of building a community, and how to fill your community, how to deliver, how to retain. So that's what we're going to talk about. But just coming into who's on the call, drop any questions as well in the chat. Just click on the question button. If there's any questions along the way, I will happily answer any questions. But yeah, let's get stuck in. I mean, this isn't a masterclass. I've only got around 25-30 minutes. So this isn't a full masterclass, but there's going to be some really, really juicy stuff in here. I kind of mapped it out this morning. I was like, there's some good stuff in here, so stick around for sure. So the mistakes I see coaches making in building a community is firstly trying to sell the community, not the outcome. See, not many people wake up in the morning and go, I need a community. Although I did have that exact realization last year with my wife, and that's why we moved to Ericeira, and we have found our community here, and we're the happiest we've ever been because of that. However, not many people have this waking up, this insight, I need to find my online community. It may be a subconscious, unconscious struggle, but it's never the hair on fire problem that people have. Instead, they wake up with other frustrations that are top of mind. And selling the community as your lead, your ideal outcome, is always going to struggle versus selling an outcome. So that's a mistake I see a lot of coaches making, is trying to sell the community, not the outcome. We're going to get into how to fill your community in a bit. The second is trying to launch a community too early. There's a lot of impatience with coaches, a lot of impatience. And I was guilty of that for sure in my earlier days. And that fuels rushing, it fuels sporadic action, it fuels inconsistency. And what I've seen in myself with those of my clients who've created a community is that it happens organically. And there are some distinct stages of building a community, which I'll share in a bit, but it does happen organically. Those that rush in, I'm going to launch a group program, I'm going to launch a community from the outset, often struggle because it takes a lot of energy and emotion and capacity to hold a community. So our group coaching call on Tuesday for my community was a very deep coaching call, and I held space for a lot of emotions. And it's taken a lot of work for me to get there. To have, I think there were 20 people on the call, to have 20 people watch you coach and you coach one person, it demands a lot of groundedness, a lot of centering. So I wouldn't rush into building a community if you haven't done that inner work. You really have to have the capacity to hold the energy, the projections, the expectations, the different personalities. It takes a lot to hold. So also a biggest mistake I see is rushing in too early to launch a community. You really need to be able to hold a lot of tension, be able to self-regulate, to work with your body to hold a lot, because there's a lot to hold with a community. Both logically, logistically, demands of rebilling and reselling and things like that, but also emotionally, expectations, projections, all of that stuff that I was talking about. The third and final thing I'll focus on the mistake side is trying to fill it with too much. And I've certainly been guilty of this. Less is more with a community. I really have seen that to be true with me personally. So let's talk about the stages of building a coaching community. So is this the only way? I'm not sure. I doubt it. Rarely is. But this is how I've built two very successful communities with incredible engagement, culture, and I call this my product pyramid ecosystem. So as I said, one of the biggest mistakes I see coaches make is trying to launch a community too early. The way I've built my community is organically and using this product pyramid ecosystem. So imagine a triangle. On the base, you have one-to-one coaching. I recommend all coaches to master one-to-one coaching first and foremost, and master creating one-to-one clients, because it doesn't change too much. There's some nuances, but it doesn't change too much on how to create a client for your community versus how to create a one-to-one client. So the base layer is always serve clients on a one-to-one basis, and do that until you have a level of mastery, because this is going to really help you hold space for a larger community. As I say, Tuesday was a very deep coaching call. I took a client very deep into inner child stuff whilst I had 20 people watching me. I was able to do that because I've developed I've got a lot of hours under my belt of coaching one-to-one. Also, by coaching a lot of one-to-one clients, you understand also the problems that you're really good at solving, the challenges that you're really good at solving, the challenges that you love solving, who your people are, marketing, content, and it allows to really build a strong foundation. You look at the strongest trees out there, they all have strong foundations. I think it's a Chinese bamboo tree that grows underground for 9 years, and then when it breaks ground, it like shoots up at like a silly speed. It's like 15 feet a second, 15 feet a week or something like that, because it has this strong foundation. So that's why the pyramid starts there with the one-to-one coaching. And this also understands for you to see patterns in how to get people results. So one of the things I teach inside of my community is building a unique framework for success. This is your unique mechanism, which I'm going to talk about in a bit with the marketing. This is your unique way of getting your clients results. Now, the more people you take through on that one-to-one basis, the more you'll start to see patterns, and the more you'll be able to create a linear journey or some framework for the community. Because one of the biggest challenges of running a community is that people join at different stages. So inside my community, I have newer coaches, I have coaches that are doing 6K, six figures, I have coaches in the middle, but because I've built a framework, it can hold all of those people coming at different stages. But I've only been able to get to that stage of building my framework and building the milestones by really taking a lot of coaches and clients through a journey. And you start to go, right, this is the framework, these are the key milestones, this is how I'm going to map out the journey. But if you don't coach enough one-to-one clients, it's very hard to build that framework. It's very hard to predict that journey. So it all starts with that one-to-one coaching level. The next offer I would offer, so you've got your one-to-one and just helping people with whatever their challenges are. The next stage is one-to-one plus online training. So this is where we take essentially the things that we continually repeat back to our one-to-one clients and we create content around that. So now you have the offer is far improved because you have online content on your platform that's going to help your clients in between sessions. And all you do is take the stuff that you continually repeat back to your clients and you record it and you have an online platform. And now when a client goes, hey, I've got this challenge, you go, cool, go watch that video, go watch that video. So this is the second level of the product pyramid ecosystem. The third level is where you have a second offer of community. So now you have one-to-one plus online content and community. So it's the same offer, but two different tiers. Now, the beauty of this is that you just have to create things once. So you created the online content for your one-to-one clients. Now this becomes a standalone offer. This is the third level. Now you've got basically one offer, but two tiers. So in the enrollment call, the outcome, the transformation is the same, but the access is different. You either go, right, I have one-to-one plus online training and the community as a bonus, or the community plus the online training. And this is why it's really, really important to understand the key outcome and sell the outcome, not the community. Because I want you to really understand this. People come for the content and the transformation. They win because of your coaching and they stay for the community. But we sell them the transformation. We sell them the outcome. Okay, so the first level, one-to-one, we master that. Then we create content, one-to-one plus online content. The third level is one-to-one plus online content plus a community. So we've got two tiers now, but one offer. It's so epic, this, because you literally create things once and you sell multiple times. Now the final part of this pyramid, one-to-one plus online content, one-to-one plus online content and community. And then the final tier is one-time offers. And this is where you take things that you are running for your community and offer them as one-time offers. And these act as lead magnets back into the community. So for example, I run bonus workshops for my community, the Elevated Coaching Collective. And I sometimes sell them as one-time offers. For example, I did a workshop, two-part workshop, which I sold for £100 and I had quite a few people come through that. And that acted as a lead magnet. Yeah. Sorry, it's a connection cut there. So the final point of the tier is one-time offers, where you take the stuff that you're already doing inside of your community and you sell that as a one-time offer. The reason why this works so well, again, is you build it once and you sell it multiple times. If I had my iPad, I'll draw this. I've got a YouTube on it somewhere. So we now know the stages of building a community. What I would say, just master one-to-one coaching. That will allow you to create that online content, which will become the base for the community, the base of the content for your community. But it'll also it'll also help you hold space for a larger community, because I can't tell you enough, it takes a lot of capacity to hold 20, 30, 40 people in a room, their expectations, projections, what have you. So that's the stages of building a community, and I would do that again. Literally, if I started this again, that's exact process I would go through, an exact process I'd take my clients through. So let's talk about marketing and filling a community. So the first thing, and this is where I always start, is thinking about the qualities of your ideal clients, writing down the qualities of the people that you want inside of your community, and then going and embodying them. It's so obvious, but as coaches, we sometimes expect more from our clients than we do ourselves. It's where I always start. And I had this insight when building my first tech business. A mentor said to me, what are the qualities you want from your employees? And I listed them out. He said, are you embodying them? I was like, well, I'm not. No. It's like, well, there's your answer. Go embody them first and you'll attract those employees. And it's something that's really stayed with me since, and especially since building a community. I have around 40 people inside of my current community, and I fucking love them all. Literally, I want to, we're on group coaching calls every week, and I sit there, I'm like, I literally love all of them because they're a reflection of me. I've written down the qualities of the people that I want inside my community, and I go embody them. Qualities like open-minded, qualities like open-hearted, vulnerable, full of joy, laughter, don't take it all too seriously, courageous, bold. Like, these are all the qualities of my clients because I'm embodying them myself. So much of marketing comes down to loving yourself, loving your offer, loving coaching. So yes, we're going to get into some strategies of how to build a community, or how to fill a community, but really it starts with your transmission, your depth, your integrity with who you are. I can't say this enough, because you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. If you want bold, courageous clients, go and be bold and courageous. The same if you want high fee clients, go and become a high fee client. I can charge my clients what I charge them because I'm investing a lot of money into myself. I just re-signed 20 grand on myself, another 10K course with John Wyland. I'm investing in myself a lot of money, therefore I attract high fee clients as well. So qualities you want in your community, go and embody them. Now let's get into some more of the strategies of marketing your community. As I said before, a mistake coaches make is selling the community, not the outcome. The way I've filled the ECC is sold my core offer, which has been ticket to 10. That offer was, or is, getting clients their first 10K months. Now, when I get them to that, or get them results close to that, they want to stay. As I said before, people come for the content and the transformation. They win because of your coaching. They stay for the community. Don't sell the community as the core offer. Sell the outcome as the core offer. It's really, really important that you get this. If I look back at the Modern Man, which I had 55 men in, I sold them the core outcome, which was initially wake up at 5 a.m. and building discipline around your morning routine. Figure that out. That led to 55 men joining my men's group and the men's membership. So sell the outcome. They come for the outcome and they stay for the community. The ECC is filled because I got people results with ticket to 10. Really want you to hear this. Sell the outcome, not the community. The third thing I want to say about filling your community is, and this is marketing in general, but I think particularly with selling and marketing a community, is there needs to be a sense of there's a new way of doing things. So inside the ECC and all my content, I talk of the heart-led way. And it creates a sense of there's a new way of doing things, because people are predictable and people are always looking for a new way of doing things. But that when you get this right and this new way is kind of tied to an identity, that's when you really win. Which brings me on to my final point here, which is creating a sense of us versus them. When you create this sense of us versus them, you'll find yourself creating raving fans who literally do your work for you. So the way we do this is kind of firstly actually throwing rocks at the enemies, not in a obnoxious kind of way, but kind of showing like that's the old way, this is the new way. So you'll see with my content, I very actively do this. I talk about, it's not about the tactics and strategies. Those things are the minor things. I talk about, it's about your embodiment. It's about who you are. It's about this heart-led way. And when people buy into that sort of core concept, that keystone idea, which is a really important thing for you to get on, when they buy into your keystone idea, that Trojan horse, they buy into you. So really, really important you get this. Creating a new way of operating that creates this sense of us versus them. The reason why the ECC is doing so well is because it gets people on board. It sort of speaks to their desired identity, their core identity of being a heart-led coach. And I talk of the heart-led way, creating a new way which goes against kind of the old way. And when people buy into that, they buy into more than just the outcome, more than just the quick results. They buy into your ethos, your way of operating. Now, if you want to go deeper on this, comment with the letters MMM, and I will send you a 2-part workshop called the Magnetic Movement Method. And I went deep into this, how to build a movement essentially. And I really had 3 hours on this. So comment MMM, and I will send you a 2-part workshop on the magnetic movement method. This is how I built almost a movement with the ECC and also the Modern Man. Yeah, epic. I'll send that across. So we have the new way versus old way, us versus them. These are going to be some killer ways. Now let's talk about delivery. So there's a idea that I don't know if I've made up, dreamt it, or heard it from somewhere, and that is a cake baked together tastes sweeter. And the idea is that when you onboard your clients and have your clients help you create the offer, they will feel part of the community, part of the delivery, and they'll feel more invested. They'll feel like they have skin in the game. So I often go to my community and ask them, I'm thinking this, what do you think? I'm thinking this is a name, what do you think? And that gets them on board more. It gets their skin in the game, and it feels like they're building the community with me. And it creates a culture of vulnerability. It creates a culture of togetherness, and it creates a culture of I'm not the leader here. We're kind of leading this together. And that's really a sense that I have with ECC, is that it's a vehicle that I've created and I kind of want to hand over to my community. And it's this co-creation that we are building together. So a cake baked together tastes sweeter. And I want you to really adopt this just in your mind and building a business in general. It's not about crowdsourcing opinion. It's about, what's the distinction here? It's about co-creation. It's about selling in public. It's about building in public. That's what I'm looking for. And there's a great book called Show Your Work that kind of talks to this. The next thing I want to talk about in terms of how I would focus on delivering is I would get in-person stuff as soon as possible. In-person events change communities so quickly, because when people meet each other in person, that's when real connections happen. And whenever you run an in-person event, less is more in terms of speaking. It's more about the connections that are made, because those connections, if you facilitate those connections, you will always be the person that is remembered for those connections. Like I have inside the ECC some business partnerships that have been formed. Like that is epic. And I was able to enable that. I've got some lifelong friendships, people who talk outside of the ECC, meet up, go on holidays, party together outside of the ECC. And when you create these connections, people always remember you for that. So in-person events, really encouraging to do that as fast as possible, even if it's just a handful of people. That's a big point of change in everyone's community, I believe. The next thing is surprising and delighting. This is something I just have in my ethos, is surprise and delight at every cost. That means random bonus workshops, it means sending people gifts, it just over delivering. And I'm just checking time here. The final thing, and I think this is the greatest hack in creating any offer, is create what you would want. It's so simple. Create the product that you would want to see in the marketplace. That's what I did with the Modern Man. That's what I'm doing with the ECC. I'm literally creating the offer that I would want in the marketplace. Honestly, I think that's the greatest hack. And if that's one thing you take from this, let it be that. Now, I was going to talk about retention, but we don't have time. Retention is a beast, because the key with community is a retention play. It's less of a client acquisition play. I spend most of my energy and focus on retention versus acquisition. Building community is a retention play, because when you dial in retention, honestly, like you're laughing, because you've got repeatable income every single month, and it means you can create from abundance and not stress and not lack. So retention is 80% of the game with community. Now, we've got 2 minutes left now, so we haven't got time for that, sadly. But if you are curious about working together, I'm going to be working with three coaches on a one-to-one basis over the next 6 to 12 months to build out their community. It's going to be epic. And it's going to be life-changing. If you are interested in that, just comment 121. We can jump on a call and explore if it's right for you. Building a community will change your life. It's the fastest, most sustainable way of scaling a coaching business. When you have a community, business gets incredible. Anyway, I hope this has been useful. For those that have watched all the way through, thank you. If you're still around, give us a wave. And sending you so much love. If you're interested in the one-to-one, just comment 121, the numbers 121, and we'll go from there. But have a beautiful day, and namaste. Ciao. Sorry, I'm answering your questions. Do you charge extra for the in-person events for community members? Yes, no, I don't charge. So the in-person events are part of the community, and then I charge as one. I sell the in-person event as a one-time offer. Again, that acts as a lead magnet to the community, and that's a killer strategy as well, because when people come and experience the vibe in the room and they see the connections that are made, they just want to be part of it. And that's a beautiful thing with the community. Once it starts building steam and people start hearing about the community, it creates more desire to be part of it. People follow people. We're pretty predictable humans, and people want to be in a successful thing. So again, once you really stay with this, are consistent and persistent with it, it will change your life. So consistency and persistence is two things I didn't talk about with community, but exactly that. That's literally half of my marketing strategy, is like, look at all the cool stuff that I'm already doing for my community. Here's how to join. If now's not the right time, that's also cool. Very relaxed, and it's working very well. So hopefully that's useful. All right, guys, take care. Sending lots of love. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I'm off for a walk. Ciao, ciao.